I am Pops, and welcome Saturday Morning Cartoons, Batman animated series. I hope you're enjoying your Saturday. I hope you enjoyed X-Men animated series every Saturday, 9 and 9:30. We're going through these two shows, doing a rewatch, trying to add some commercials, trying to have some fun. So I'll tag some stuff at the end of this. Hopefully that'll make you smile. Here we go. 2 episodes this week. We're going to do I've Got a Batman in My Basement and Vendetta. So it's the introduction of Penguin as well as Killer Croc. And the episodes, I'm putting them together because I felt like the I've Got a Batman in My Basement introduction of Penguin. The first observation is that Penguin already exists in their universe. The little boy knows it's the Penguin. It's like we had with the Joker when the Joker was driving the car behind the one guy. He knew who the Joker was. So the Joker's Penguins, they've already existed in this universe prior to this episode. So whereas other characters get like an origin, the Penguin has already done his thing. Everyone knows who he is. And it's an interesting little story that's really more about the boy and the boy Sherman. And the girl is named Roberta. And it's more about like how certain people see Batman. Is he inspiring people? And then you have sort of like this, the Penguin bad guy of the moment kind of thing, which is really kind of second fiddle in this episode. I think it is fine. I don't consider this one that I've enjoyed nearly as much. Batman getting the gas right to his chest, so obviously he's staggering around. He didn't make it back to the Batmobile without the help of the boy who's destroying the Batmobile, trying to, quote, drive it. And then, of course, the episode's playing out with these other friends that are bullying Sherman because he's a nerd. He wants to be a detective. And obviously, there's the battle that ultimately does take place as Batman regains his strength because they figure out, he's rambling. He says capsule. He's rambling later, says visor. In his visor, he has like a antitoxin kit. And when he takes that, he'll eventually get his strength back at the last second. Obviously, this episode, again, I think it's one of the more weaker episodes. Lots of contrivances, lots of this, lots of that. Just isn't as sharp and interesting as some of the others. But as I said, it is sort of the introduction to Penguin. And I really wanted your guys' thought on Penguin. Do you guys like the Penguin design? The Penguin design is probably among my least favorite and interesting because they went with like the Danny DeVito, Batman Returns. He's really, really malformed with, he has like flipper hands and he has just very, very prominent features. They also go with like the umbrella gags, over the top umbrella stuff, even in this episode where they have like a spinning blade and then the sword inside and some things like that, right? I'm not saying I hate it. It doesn't take anything away from the show or my love of the characters. It's just that compare this to Clayface, Joker, these, obviously Mr. Freeze we've had. You really have such an in-depth elaboration of the character and the designs and everything that came before it that set Penguin up. And this episode, I don't think, does as much of that. And we get more Penguin later on, which I think is a lot more interesting and dynamic later on. Now, why did I add second episode? Because Vendetta, on the other hand, I think is a very interesting episode. It's very dark and edgy because here you have a continuation of the character that we've already met, and that'd be Rupert Thorne, right? He's kind of like this criminal that Batman can't quite, pinch and button up, and you have this backstory, this elaboration of Detective Bullock, Harvey Bullock, and this history that dates back to Thorne, the corrupt cop allegations. There's different things that are happening with this boat and a bomb. And, Bullock's always got this toothpick. And then you have sort of like a pretty long setup where you see Bullock doing different things. And you really, basically, you agree with Batman in his investigation that Bullock is a bad cop. Bullock is on the take. And it is Gordon is the one that's defending Bullock. Gordon is the one that's saying, listen, no, he's a good cop. He's rough. He's hard to like. He's hard to work with, the whole thing, but he's a good cop. And then, of course, we do figure out enough of the clues. Batman's piecing it together and realizes, no, there's some other player. And then he has the scale that he's doing the examination on, which sets up, obviously these great moments with Alfred, which never get old. And then, of course, he realizes he's dealing with a crocodile. He's dealing with this man creature thing, this carnival sideshow guy, the crocodile man, right? And for those of us that are old enough to remember when they would do those types of things, this actually almost is like, other than him like being really super strong, it actually is all very believable. So I think it all goes well. So my biggest objection with Vendetta is, do you guys like the bubbles are forming like right where he is? Like it's spoon feeding to the audience the Jaws effect. Like with the Jaws effect, you have those barrels, right? Because we don't show the shark. Shark didn't work. The barrels keep us attached to the film, and the suspense and the danger is right there. They try for the same effect with these bubbles, and I don't know if I like it or not, because I can see where they're coming from. If you don't have anything, the audience would just be like totally like it's total shock every time Killer Croc appears. I don't know that I like the bubbles either. I don't know. It's a difficult call. The Croc is really pretty good though. I like the fact that it is a very a formidable strength challenge to the Batman that we've seen at this point. Like Batman could easily lose or get very seriously injured fighting Killer Croc for any length of time. So his strategies have to be speed, agility, and a short battle rather than, dragging something out. So I do think it's very, very interesting that they do all of that. I will say that this is one of the episodes too where the thugs, the side characters and stuff, actually matter more than some of the other episodes, which I thought was very interesting. I also think that even when there's a fight and you think Batman's going to lose, because he's not going to, but you do have to admit that it when it's done right, it actually pulls you in and makes you think there's a chance that Batman could actually lose and actually could get hurt, maybe even killed. Now, it's made for kids, so in the back of your mind, you actually feel kind of like conflicted. This is pulled off well with this episode, Vendetta with Killer Croc. I didn't like it and thought it was pulled off at all with the Penguin episode. I've got Batman in my basement. So for instance, with the Penguin, he's moving in with the umbrella bladed saw going for his face. You just knew Batman was just going to reach up and grab it. Like there was no real threat. With Croc, when he goes over his back and he's going underground, you actually thought, well, I wonder if Batman is going to pass out and then we'll carry on with the story. Or I thought, well, I wonder. So it just seemed like the execution on the Killer Croc episode is better. And I hope that makes sense to you. And you guys can tell me if you agree or don't agree with my assessment. But as I've always said, this is next tier, next level enjoyment. It is hard to believe this is 30 years. It's hard to believe this is just as entertaining now as it was then. I'm so engaged in enjoying every moment. It takes me right back. As a Batman fan, I'm enjoying it. Hope you're enjoying it. Anyway, that's my take on it. Hope you're enjoying my little close here. Throw a couple little snippets in for you to have some fun with before we get to the finale. Take care. Enjoy your day. I'm Pops. Thank you.
When your kids are away from you, too often they forget your good advice and fill up between meals.
That's why we're here.
Flintstones chewable vitamins with 6 flavors, 7 shapes,
And 10 essential vitamins.
It's the Flintstone way to help make sure kids get vitamins they could be missing.
So do what you can to help them eat well.
Hey, that's my favorite.
And help make sure of vitamins with Flintstones.
That's why we're here.
Regular or with iron.
The Sunshine Family van with its piggyback shack and the Sunshine Family making tracks. Coming to the country fair for crafts and things that you're making there. Make a swing park, baby, and aren't you glad that you could make a belt for Dad? Next weekend there's a different plan for the Sunshine Family van. The Sunshine Family with Craft Book is sold separately. The Sunshine Family van comes with Craft Book and piggyback shack that you put together, new from Mattel.